Hi everyone, welcome to our latest video. Really pleased to be able to show you today this absolutely gorgeous Ducati Scrambler 800 Desert Sled. What an absolutely stunning looking bike. Now this particular bike is a 2017 67 plate and she's covered just 1685 miles from new. Now most of you would have heard of the Ducati Scrambler range by now, but this is the first and so far only bike within the Scrambler range that MCN suggests has got genuine off-road capabilities. So this is the top of the range Desert Sled, available in either white, or should I say with a white tank or a red tank. As you can see, this one's got the red tank with the lovely sort of brushed aluminium Scrambler side panels, and she's powered by the same 803cc air-cooled engine that powers the rest of the Scrambler range. As you can see, that classic Ducati air-cooled V-twin, or an L-twin as some people describe it. And that's putting out about 75 horsepower, so arguably if you're migrating from a sports bike or something with 150 horsepower, you might look for something with a bit more poke, but that's not really what the Scrambler's about. It's more fun than high speeds and brute force. And 50 pound-foot of torque as well, so plenty to keep most people entertained. But as I say, it's the potential of this bike to go off-road, which leads me to think that if you are predominantly a road rider, it fundamentally means that this bike is very much over-engineered and therefore should last you a lifetime. What we're going to do, we're going to take you around the bike shortly, but use that as an opportunity to do some close-ups as well. That's the left-hand side of that air-cooled engine, and as those of you that know your Ducatis will probably be aware that once they've been ridden in the rain and not cleaned properly, these cooling fins are very, very difficult to get clean. So as you can probably see from the close-ups, this has only ever seen dry roads, which I guess in many respects is in complete contrast to what its capabilities are, but nonetheless it means that for the new owner it's a beautifully clean and unblemished bike. Okay, where are we going to start? First place to start is these gorgeous gold rimmed but spoked wheels, held on by these upside down KYB forks. Now these are 46mm fully adjustable forks, and the standard forks on the rest of the Scrambler range are 41mm, so significantly less sturdy, and that's sort of testament to its potential off-road capabilities. But yeah, so the forks that you'd find on, for example, the Icon, the Full Throttle and the Urban Enduro would be significantly less robust than these KYB 46mm units. And again, as you can see from the hub, the inside of the brake discs there, and just the wheel rim itself, absolutely unblemished and unmarked, just how we like our bikes. And again, the front of the engine from the right side of the bike, and as you can see, just the usual downpipe discoloration that you're going to find on all Ducatis, but again we do some real close-ups, you can see like new in there. So on the left hand side of the front wheel, and we've got these sort of semi knobbly tyres as well, the Scorpions, Pirelli Scorpions. So plenty of tread there for road riding, so plenty of grip at lean, but a nice blocky tread pattern, so if you do decide to go on the rough stuff, you've got yourself covered. Excuse me. So as you can see, we've got a single 330mm front brake disc there with a single Brembo radial mounted caliper, and this is fitted with ABS as well, but you can actually, the ABS is switchable, so you can actually deactivate the rear ABS. So if you do like some of the gravelly stuff or the green lanes, you can deactivate the rear ABS and back the bike in. And also on the Desert Sled, very similar to the Urban Enduro, which was the previous Scrambler model that genuinely looked like a Scrambler. It had this similar raised front mudguard, sort of Enduro style mudguard, and the headlight grille. But this is the real deal, this one. And at the back we've got an uprated aluminium KYB Enduro rear shock. Having recently sold one of the matte green Urban Enduros, you can see just how much more significant this rear shock is compared to a standard Scrambler unit. I mean, that really does look like it could take some proper abuse. And whereas the front forks are fully adjustable, the rear shock is also adjustable for both preload and rebound. You can see the rebound adjuster there. And also we've got a slightly longer swing arm on the Desert Sled as well, just to give a little bit more stability. But the most important thing, you can probably see there that the swing arm is actually mounted directly to the frame. All the other Scrambler models, the swing arm, which again is slightly shorter on all the other models as well, the swing arm actually bolts directly to the back of the engine, which of course does tend to save a little bit of weight, but as you can imagine, if you're going to be pounding your rear suspension over lumps and bumps and logs, the propensity to crack the engine casing obviously limits its off-road potential, whereas the Desert Sled, proper frame mounted swing arm, and you can actually see from the previous models, this is effectively the extension to the frame on this particular model, over and above the standard Icon, Full Throttle and Urban Enduro. So again, same on the rear. You can see we've got the Pirelli Scorpion. You can see the tread pattern there. It's, you know, it's rife for digging into some dirt or gravel and giving you some forward propulsion. But at this moment in time, it would appear that that's not yet been done. As you can see, this is absolutely pristine. You see the rear shock reservoir there in the back of the engine. I'd be surprised if this bike's ever seen rain, let alone a green lane. And the striking thing about the Desert Sled, as you can probably see there from the gap between the rear mudguard and the top of the tyre, is the genuine clearance. Again, having recently sold an Urban Enduro with a 14 stone rider, there were some potential clearance issues, particularly on the sort of bouncier roads. So this is a much taller bike, so would certainly suit somebody in excess of 6 foot, whereas I don't think the standard models maybe would. We've also got these quite nice footrests, both for the rider and the pillion. So rubber covered for comfort, but they're removable. So, and the actual whole rear pillion assembly, footrest assembly is removable anyway. So if you only ride solo, excuse me. And again, we'll do some close-ups. You can see the engine case there, absolutely pristine. Even the oil pipe connections there, which possibly one of the first things to show signs of weathering. Okay, we're going to start her up for you at the moment, in just a moment, so you can hear those standard exhausts. We'll see there we've also got an Optimate battery charging lead, which isn't always hanging out like that. That's just for the purposes of the time of year. We like to keep the batteries topped up. You've got a really nice, very simple but very neatly done LCD display here. You'll see it go for itself, check there. And the mileage is 1685. You may also notice that just before the odometer came up that it showed you the service countdown. So it's 5,800 miles to the next service. Ducatis have come on a long way actually with regards to their service intervals. These are now 6,000 mile service intervals, but I think for a lot of people the most beneficial improvement to the service schedules is the cam belts. So being one of Ducati's tried and tested air-cooled V-twins, she still runs on cam belts, but whereas they used to be 2-year intervals, they're now 5-year intervals. So with this bike just being a year old, you've got no cam belt worries for the next 4. So, see her firing into life there. You've got a nice, neat LCD tacho rev counter, which revs around the bottom. And that's the unmistakable sound of a air-cooled Ducati V-twin. I think they made a really nice job of these nice neat exhausts as well. Considering they're not Termes, they are standard exhausts. They've still got a really nice sound to them, you can probably hear.